Absolutely. You said been here for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't think I have been.
Oh, on the group chat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I thought you
Oh,
moved or something. It went right over me. I wasn't even thinking.
oh no, no, no. I was
Yep.
thinking the other day,
Was
like,
it you in the members chat that was saying somebody was saying they've got some unlocked phones on hand or something?
if it was your group and I said I have a couple iPhone XRs, yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Note 10s. I'm just curious to compare the Note 10 to the iPhone 11. At least I'm interested in doing that, but I don't
I'm
know. I
sure
went
on
and bought,
paper,
I have an iPhone 11, so I don't know.
I'm
It's
sure on
probably,
paper the Note's better. It's always like that. Samsung's always better, but Apple has an Apple logo and iOS.
well,
I
you know
tell
what's interesting is, in these phone flipping group chats, it's not always about necessarily the phone flipping business. It's just the general industry as a whole. I mean, discussions are good about that. But what I read on the benchmark test is that actually the iPhone 11 Pro is faster than the Note 10. Actually,
oh, oh,
Apple's been starting to catch up on that because I think they're probably getting sick of getting slapped in the face by Samsung. Because it's true. I mean, most Samsungs generally are a lot faster than iPhones, but the new iPhones on the benchmark test, the iPhone 11 Pro is faster than the Note 10s.
See, I've always thought that the benchmarks were kind of like irrelevant to phones because like for the longest time iPhones benchmarked lower, but because of the proprietary software, they ended up being faster. So you're saying the actual benchmark software shows it's faster.
Yeah, that's what all the tests are saying online. I mean, I'm using the iPhone 11 right now, and it seems pretty fast. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with it, and I've been an Android user. I mean, pretty much my whole life actually. So I think the iPhone 11 is pretty good. So
do you have the 11 or you have like the 11 Pro or a Pro
I have
Max?
the 11 Pro. I guess that's what I meant to say. My bad.
I'm just curious. So there's not really. I mean, they should run the same speed.
Right. Yeah. No. It seems pretty great.
I'm
You know,
curious, why didn't you pay the extra 100 to get the Max?
I don't really like the that big a screen size. I feel like with it being that big, I feel like I don't know. I have to use almost two hands to use it. I mean,
Yeah.
what I like personally. I'm just doing a speed test on mine right now, but I like to be able to touch the top of the screen with my thumb without having to like move around. So I don't really like if I have the Max, you can barely reach the top of the screen. So a lot of the
Right.
times I'm one-handed texting or whatever because I'm typing on the computer or I'm doing something with my hands with one of my rental properties. So for me, I went with the XS. That's what I had before, and then now I've got the iPhone 11 Pro, which I think is the same size
Okay.
as the
You
XS.
already have the XS. So how much better is the 11 compared to the XS? Because I have a Max right now.
Uh, personally, I guess the only reason really why I got the 11 Pro is it is a little bit faster. That's one of the things. It does have a better screen, but the whole reason why I bought it, I guess, is because so I believe in something that I really think has helped me keep most of my money from going out the door, and that's called revolving depreciation. That's what I call it. It's my own term. And what that means is anytime I have a phone, a car, a computer, like if we look at my computer over here, I just installed this RAM. It's a really nice RAM. It was like $200. But my old RAM, I can still sell that for like $140. And what I believe is this revolving depreciation. Basically, anytime anything that I own is kind of at the peak where it's about to spike downwards in price. Like if it's two generations behind, well, it's too late. I should have upgraded. So what I try and do is I try and list the stuff that I have for sale and I list it for a price that is almost I would say the price that I list it's almost above market price. It's like almost like retail price. But if I sell it, then what I do is once I have the buyer lined up, I sell them on that, get it confirmed, set up a meet, and then I will go out and I will buy an upgraded version of what I already have. And usually every time that I do this, I usually only end up losing like $100 each time, but it keeps me from taking a depreciation bath if say I upgrade in like 2 years and I lose $300-400 on my iPhone from when I bought it.
Makes sense.
So that's why I bought the 11 Pro. I don't think it's a huge difference. The one thing that sucks is there's no life-proof case out yet for it, so I'm stuck using this
Oh,
like
wow.
girly little leather
Why
case.
is it hard on top of that being as big of a company?
Yeah, it's nice, but the life-proof cases are not out yet, so I'm stuck using this. I'm sure nobody who has government conspiracies will use this phone, because it's got 3 cameras on it, so they'll get all weirded out. But yeah, no, it's nice. I like it. It's cool. So
Has OtterBox came out with one yet, or?
OtterBox has one, but it doesn't have a built-in screen protector. That's a topic. What do you guys think about cases that don't have built-in screen protectors?
Dude, I rip out those screen protectors they have in those otter boxes. They're garbage. You got to get Protection Pro.
I have a really big critique with it. My girlfriend's using an iPhone XR of mine right now, and I gave her a case with it, and it has one of those built-in screen protectors, and she's like, "This phone's whack. Like I can barely hear anyone out of it." And I looked at it, and it's because it has a built-in screen protector, but there's no cutout for the speaker on the top. And
Yeah.
that really muffles it. And I don't know. I've had a few experiences with that where they don't have that cutout because then it's not waterproof anymore. But
That is one con, yeah, to the built-in screen protector is that it does muffle stuff. Me personally, every time I have a phone, if there's a life-proof available, I don't even leave the store without my phone all life-proof. I've never cracked a phone, never broken a phone, which is funny because of the business that we're in, but I've never cracked or broken a phone ever. Never water damaged it, and that's because every time I leave the store, I usually throw it into life-proof, and this is the first time in, I don't know, quite a long time where they haven't had a case right away. So this thing's got a Zag glass screen protector on it, and then it's got this leather case. So it's all good. It'll be perfect, but I'm
Knock on there, Luke. I said you better knock on some wood there, Luke.
yeah, right. I've got the life proof though. I've got it set to notify me as soon as it releases on their website. They've got my email, so I will have it ordered, and then I'll probably return this case. I don't know. It is irritating though that a company, as big as Life Proof isn't on top of things. But yep, I just hate dust getting on my phone, anything like that, I guess. And the way that I see it is like the iPhone XS that I have sitting in my bedroom right now. I have the original plastic. I have I have everything, and I never use my accessories out of phones that I buy personally. So when I resell them, I just resell them as like new open or basically like 10 out of 10 condition, light use, usually less than a year of use because I upgrade every release date. So
yeah.
See, I had a screen protector fall off in my pocket recently, and the next day it broke. I dropped my phone from a height of 2 to 4 feet, like probably twice a day. Like I'm so bad with it. And I actually have a Tech 21 case. I don't know if you guys heard of them, but I swear by them. And as soon as my screen protector was off, within about 20 hours, my screen was broke. And
Gunner, can I say real quick here? Have you heard of Protection Pro?
What's that?
Okay, check this out. So this is custom cut injured gadget cells. They come with
oh yeah, I know about Protection. Yeah. No, I'm planning to get a Protection Pro machine before the year is up.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll make my money back on that very quick.
Very impressive.
On average is about $4 for a phone. I charge $25. It paid for itself in like 2 months.
Really? And you don't have a storefront, do you?
No, I don't. That's what's impressive. Like a lot of people say, why does it take 2 months to pay it off? Well, I don't have a storefront. I do like 5-6 repairs a week, maybe.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Interesting. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight is how is everybody faring with the price drops? How's everybody's not buyers, but how are your guys' sellers? How are they reacting when you hit them with much lower prices than the past few months before all the price drops, especially with the new phones being out? Is anybody having kind of difficulty just kind of closing people who are regular sellers?
I haven't noticed anything different, honestly. I don't think it's gotten any more difficult than usual.
Well, personally, this time of the year, I really watch my local Facebook marketplace and just see what people post out. And I bought 3 phones today, and I don't know. I had no problem with it. It seems like that time of year people lowball themselves on the market.
Definitely. Well, yeah, something to kind of watch out for, everybody, is the fact that, Christmas is going to be coming up. So a lot of people, tax season, etc. There is going to be a lot of local marketplace deals coming up. It is a good time of the year to, if you want to sit inside, it's a snowy day, especially if you live, in the Wisconsin area or Minnesota or wherever you get a bunch of snow. it's not a bad season to sit inside, especially later at night if you've, kind of already picked up your leads for the day, maybe some of the ones that you actually posted for, like on Craigslist, Facebook, etc. Not a bad idea to troll through Facebook Marketplace because of the fact that tax season is coming up. It's that time of the year. iPhone 11 just came out. People are upgrading. It's a good time of the year to possibly scoop deals up from people who, aren't necessarily reaching out to you, but you can reach out to them just to kind of fill your time.
Well, actually, Luke, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was going to say I have a theory here. We may not see that price shock yet because the people who upgrade right away are usually what I would consider the power users who kind of know where the market's at and they're more reasonable. So we may not see those uneducated buyers for another month or two,
Yeah, it may be a bit. I mean, a lot of people, that are upgrading, they can be, techie people, obviously. I upgraded the same day that the phone came out. I had one in my hands. So, obviously somebody like myself, I'm not going to sell my iPhone XS unlocked for $400, but, you never know. It's a good time to look through Marketplace. Another thing I wanted to talk to everybody about is we've got Will on here. We've got Mustafa, Bobby, Corey, etc. I wanted to get everybody's opinion, something that I just kind of wanted to talk about, just something that's kind of happening in the community because the community is important. I want to know what everybody thinks about, I'll just throw this out there. Obviously, I've been in this business for 6 or 7 years now. And then, there's one other guy out there that's been out here for 6 or 7 years. And what does everybody think about all these other phone flipping groups just like popping up, people who've got like a year of experience and them just like giving everybody kind of like mediocre advice, leeching off of other, people who have proven themselves in the industry and just copying everyone and redishing out content. Me personally, it's kind of a turnoff to me just because like I feel like all these free phone flipping groups are at war with each other, and I feel like it's kind of made the community kind of toxic. Phone flipping to me used to be, I still like the money aspect of it, but I used to actually enjoy posting in my own group and everything, but it's like now it's like I post something original, it gets copied by one of these other little like poser groups. And it's just irritating because I feel like all the new people coming into the industry, they are being trained the wrong way or they're just being miseducated. And I just feel like it's confusing so many new people in the industry. It's like when I first got started, I taught myself a lot of stuff, and a lot of the reasons why I taught myself is because I learned through trial and error. I had some bad stuff happen, lost money on, this kind of phone. I dealt with all these kind of scams, all these, different people you deal in the industry. And it took me a long time to learn that myself, but I feel like these people are coming in now and they're getting like some good information, but they're getting a lot of information that's like mediocre or information that's copied from someone else. And they're not giving the full picture. And it's just kind of sad. I just kind of wanted to see what everybody else thinks about this. And the other thing that is huge, and I think this not only affects new members, but I think it affects like veteran members also, is the fact that when you give people too much information from too many sources, they don't learn anything. They actually become confused. Like if the iPhone just came out, and obviously one of the big colors is gold, okay? Everybody likes gold. Now, they only came out with, I think it was green, black, gold, and I don't know, I think there was one. But there's only like 4 or 5 colors to the brand new iPhone. Why didn't they come out with 25 colors? Because people would be confused at the store and they wouldn't know, what decision to make. They wouldn't know which one to pick. And when you've got these 20, 30 phone flipping groups out there, especially from people who've only been in the industry like a year or two, I think that it honestly confuses all the new people coming in and even some of the people who've been around a year or two because they don't really know where to get information from. And what's going on is instead of getting all their information from 1 or 2 trusted groups, they've got like 15 groups that they've now joined because there's people out there spam adding everyone. And you look off to your taskbar on Facebook off to the left, and you got 15 different phone flipping groups you're in. How are you going to keep up on that? Unless looking at the phone flipping groups is your full-time job, there's absolutely no way you can keep up with all those groups, all that information, and then decipher which is good and which is bad. And I just really feel like although everybody out there wants to make money off of trying to sell a course, even if they don't have much experience, that's great, but that's not really helping anybody. And it's actually making the market, I think, worse and actually ruining the community as a whole. And it's just causing a lot of confusion for people. I just kind of wanted to get everybody's opinion in this chat. I'm just going to go from left to right. Josh, if you wouldn't mind talking first. Just want to see if your thoughts are kind of the same on this or what you think. It's kind of just something. Welcome, Jonathan.
Yo.
Jonathan, hey, we're just talking
Yo.
different phone flipping groups and how it's affecting the community just with confusion. So,
Okay.
Well,
Josh, yeah, we'll let you go first.
yeah, I definitely agree with you. Now, I don't think that's necessarily the fault of the different phone flipping masterminds, if you will, people like you, Dave Kosciuszko, Khalid, all those different people. I don't think it's necessarily their fault, because when I came into this business, I've been in it probably 4.5, 5 years. When I started with phone repair, and it was kind of the same thing. It wasn't necessarily groups and masterminds, things like that. It was more like, which website, one website saying this, one website saying that, what's the correct information, this forum post says this. So I don't find that interesting. What I find interesting is more of the members of the community are a little bit more toxic. The people who do message me, because people do message me about the video that I did for you, about, asking for advice as to which phone flipping group to join. And it's interesting because they always come to me, well, should I join Luke's group or David's group or Colin's group or this guy or Mr. Phone Flipper, this guy, the other guy? I don't know. I just think it's interesting, and they kind of pit themselves against each other, if you know what I mean. Like, there are people out there who love Luke and hate, I don't know, some other guy, Joe Schmo Phone Flipper, and there's people who hate Luke and love Joe Schmo Phone Flipper. I don't know. I just think it's interesting that the community is that toxic like that. But I definitely agree with you. I think there's something wrong here.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'm just kind of looking for feedback because I'm trying to find a way to make things better for everybody. Obviously all these free groups, they're not paid members. It's not necessarily my job, as it's my job as you guys are my members to make sure everything's square in our group. But if there's a way for me to make the community better, I'm looking for suggestions on, what could be done, because it would be nice to take all the toxic stuff out of the groups, etc. One of the things that I've tried to do is present facts. One of the easiest ways when somebody says, I make $10,000 a month flipping phones, the first thing you do is say, okay, what do you have for assets? Well, I live in my mom's basement. You probably don't make $10,000 a month flipping phones. If you want to learn from a real guru or a real, expert or pro phone flipper, well, after he says, yeah, I make $20,000 or $30,000 a month flipping phones, all you got to do is be like, oh, cool. Do you own a house? No. Oh, do you own a car? No. Well, then he's probably not telling the truth. And one thing I've tried to do is present facts, but sometimes people get so wrapped up in these online personas that people don't even think to ask themselves, well, who am I learning from? I'm just saying, I think that's where the confusion comes from, is people don't really do any, checking on the person's actual business track record. Like, if you want to make money, you wouldn't want to learn from somebody who is a high school teacher that makes $20,000 a year. You wouldn't want to take a business class from them necessarily. It's the same thing in phone flipping. If you're going to learn from a phone flipping coach that claims they make $20,000 or $30,000 a month, but in reality they make $2,000 a month, that would mean that their business track record isn't so great for making money, and they're probably not going to be able to teach you how to make money very well.
Well, Luke, I think it's interesting you bring that up, because I've thought about that, and I honestly think it's not entirely your fault that this is going on, this kind of industry-wide thing. But one of the problems you run into, and I don't know if you were the first. I think that Khalid guy might have been first. Obviously Dave was first in the industry, but he started at $1,000 for the course, and then someone else went down to 500, and it just kind of raced to the bottom. And I think, as much as I realize you want to keep the course affordable for people, I think people think when they pay $1,000, they're learning from someone who really knows what they're talking about. They may look at you charge. I don't even know what the current price is. I don't know, what was it, like $4 or something like that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of price warring going on too. I think that's a problem too.
I think you're underselling yourself. I think people look at you and they say, the people who are skeptical of you, they look at you and they say, well, if this guy really makes so much, why is he willing to give it all away for $400? They kind of, it'd be like if someone tried to offer to sell you the entire McDonald's corporation for $1 million. You'd be like, well, what's going on here? Like, why is it so cheap?
Right. Well, and that's one reason why I've never, I've had sales here and there, but my price, I always try and keep things at, either $297 on sale or $697 normal price. But that's another thing that I think that's creating a lot of conflict in the industry, is there's some people out there right now that they'll sell a course for $100 or $200, and they get a course that isn't so great. And then I think they get burnt on the whole idea of even learning online together because they get one bad one and then they don't want to give anything other a chance, which is basically my whole topic of being confused. So they see one guy for $1,000, they see another one for 200, maybe they're broke. They sign up for the guy for $200. They don't learn a whole lot because I've got basically a free video a day as a 2019 on my channel about phone flipping. And they're like, geez, I learned all this free stuff from Luke. I paid this guy $200. Now I don't want to pay for anybody's course because I got screwed. And that's where the confusion comes in. Nobody knows really where to turn to, where's the real information at? And it's just kind of sad, I guess, because back when it was just me and David, I didn't really see a lot of confusion from people. I mean, it was me, David, and Khaled. And I've never, taken Khaled's course. I don't really know anything about it. I don't really have any, thing to say about it. I don't want to talk bad about anybody here, but it just seemed like that was it. There was 3 choices, and now that there's like, there's David Moffo, there's, I don't know, this Amir guy there. I mean, there's just so many people that are like, oh, I have a phone flipping course. I just think people are actually confused. They're genuinely confused. And then when they do end up purchasing, it just depends on who persuaded them. Then they end up disappointed, and then they don't even want to do the business. It's just sad because that's not what it's supposed to be.
And I think another thing that's important to remember is if you only pay $200, or I'll even knock you a little bit for this, even at $300, I think the barrier of entry for there's no motivation there. So I'm full disclosure. My first course was not Luke's; it was actually David's. Luke was in there as well with me. Full disclosure, though, point is when I went in, I didn't go in at $200. I spent $1,000, so I kind of forced myself to learn. And then I paid again. I paid Luke, and that forced me to learn some more. If Luke had offered me a course for $100, I don't think I would be that motivated. I think that's part of the concern as we kind of have this price war where everyone's trying to undercut everyone else. We get to a point where no motivation to learn.
Right. No, I appreciate that. I think those are all good points, and that's true. Just for everybody out there watching this, if you are afraid to spend money to start a business, you have the complete wrong mindset. There is nothing free in this world. There's nothing free in this industry, really, if you haven't noticed. I mean, look, there's people out there charging you $50 to unlock a phone, and it takes them 2 seconds and costs them pennies on the dollar. So just keep that in mind, everybody. When you spend money, you gain value, as long as you're purchasing through trusted people out there. But no business out there is free, and that's true. When you spend money, you do somewhat force yourself to commit, because if you don't follow up on the content that you paid for, well, then it's always going to be in the back of your head that, wow, I just spent $600 or $1,000 on stuff that I was supposed to use to start a business, and now I'm out $1,000 because I chose not to study the material that I paid for. Whereas if it's all free, it's at your leisure. It's kind of like reading a book that you already paid for. A lot of people will buy a book. They don't even read it because, oh, they only spent $10. The book will sit there on the shelf and collect dust. But when you spend $500 to $1,000, it's like, okay, yeah, I really got to use this material and learn it because I'm invested in this. You are vested. Once you're vested, once you have some skin in the game, that'll force you and motivate you to really get this phone flipping business off the ground.
And the other thing is people complain about the prices so much. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, for comparison, do you know what the barrier to entry is to literally any other business? Like, take, for example, McDonald's franchise. You want to open one. You know what the entry fee is just to get in the door to get the franchise? Somewhere in the neighborhood of like $1.5 million. So that's a big example, but you can't start. There's not many businesses you can start for under $50,000. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. I mean, a business, most businesses don't even make money in their first year. And the phone flipping business is something where you can get a course, get a mentorship, get a group, and you can be making money your first month and have all your startup fees paid for in the first month, which is crazy. So, but yeah, those are good points, Josh. I'm going to go on to Gunnar because I know he was here when we started the concept. Gunnar, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, how's it going? What are your thoughts, Gunnar?
My take kind of on it is that if they're offering something that's kind of unique and different, I'm all for it. But like the concept of like, just post your ads on Craigslist, post them this many times, or, little things like that, the basics being regurgitated by 10, 20 people in slightly different ways is very overplayed. Some like Jacob Hanna, he has a course just for Facebook advertising. I think that I like that because it's just about Facebook advertising. If you want to get better at Facebook advertising, Jacob is, you go to Jacob and you take his ads course. And then there's another guy, he has a small course on unlocking Samsung phones, like something that teaches you
Right.
things of just the bare basics. Pretty much anyone who's been in this industry for a year can pretty much tell you how to go on Craigslist, post ads, look at your buyers thing, look at the eBay sold list, and everyone just does that over and over and over. But the more unique or niche kind of courses, I think, are very, very awesome. But
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Originality is great, but it seems like as soon as somebody comes out with something original, it's regurgitated 20 times by everybody else. And then if it's not given out for free, it's sold at half the price by some scumbag.
Well, yeah, I know Jacob Hanna had that issue where David Mofo had like his Jacob's video was actually in David's course, and just stuff like that is it. I don't think that's right. I mean, it's just like it causes too many issues. And another thing is, I think a lot of people who are selling courses, they're also being paid by direct buyers to promote them in their groups. I know for sure that happens. I don't think in your group necessarily there's any paid, no, but
Yeah, in my group, in my free group, I do not allow direct buyers to advertise just because they wave money in my face. And I will say this, just a disclosure for everybody. I sell the course because my time is worth money. I think my skills are worth money. I mean, I've proven myself in this industry, but as far as it being about the money, it's not about the money. And that's why in my group, obviously, like you just said, Gunnar, you've noticed because you're in other groups, I do not allow any direct buyers to just spam advertise in my group because of the fact that I don't care if you pay me 500 or 1,000 or even 2,000 a month. You're not going to get to advertise to my group, to my audience, with all the hard work that I put in to build that group, just because you wave money in my face. Now, if somebody wants to pay me to advertise in my group and they have better prices than I've ever seen before, that's absolutely fine. But people aren't going to pay in my group to get members just because of the fact that they're paying me money. You know what I mean? All these common direct buyers that have similar prices, I don't allow that because their prices are all pretty much the same. So I would rather people find them themselves. And when it comes to top prices, all the companies that pay top prices don't pay for advertising anyways because they're so busy dealing with all the smaller companies.
well, yeah. I mean, it's not even that though. It's more where they're paying the teacher of the course. They're paying them to promote one certain company when they're no better than any other. Or
That's what I'm saying. I won't allow a company to be promoted unless they really are that much better than everyone else. Just because somebody wants to pay me, I won't push a mediocre product, if that makes sense.
yeah. Well, I mean, like, cause like for example, if Atlas paid you and you told everyone in your group sell the Atlas, well, that's what people are going to do. But maybe maybe Zellphone has a little bit of better pricing for the week or whatever.
Exactly.
It's not really, it's not really fair because you're it's not really cheating people out of their money, but it's not, it's
Well, my role is, even for people that aren't paid students, even people that are free students, my thought has always been people look up to me, people look to me for advice. And if I'm going to sell out over 2,000 members of my free group for a measly $500 a month, what kind of person am I? How desperate am I for money? And then 3, how corrupt am I? Because if I could recommend a different direct buyer that pays $15 a month more than Atlas, then I would do it hands down. The problem with all these new groups, in my opinion, a lot of these new phone flipping coaches or new phone flipping groups, I think that the teachers in the groups are pretty money hungry. Like they're not established in the business. I think that they're still struggling financially where I'm not so much. And so money doesn't really persuade me. Like you said, I'm not going to just sell the group out basically and cheat them out of $15 a phone. So I get exactly what you're saying, and I completely agree.
yeah. And then these new groups pop up so fast too. I think kind of the most recent was Bob Fritz's new group, and I think he's already over 1,000 members, and he only, his group is maybe a month or, I don't think it's 2 months old. I'm not talking bad about Bob or anything like that, but just as an example on how quickly these groups pop up, and then normally whoever made them, they make their group or their paid course, and
Yep.
there's some
Well,
more.
exactly. They populate fast, people fill in it, but that's the thing. It's like when you're getting notifications from 4 or 5 different groups, how do you even keep up with one person, basically what's going on is the market is getting so spread around that, eventually there isn't going to be many course sales. There isn't going to be many sales at all. And basically these people that are popping up everywhere are almost ruining the market, not only for everyone else, but themselves. And what I think eventually will happen is the people out there who have been in the game for 7 years, like myself, David, we're always going to, be renovating eventually, even if people steal it, but people will eventually recognize like, hey, that's the guy that always comes up with the original ideas. But it's confusing people that are new, I think, that don't see the content and don't see the bigger picture. And it's just sad. It's sad to see people come into an industry, which we all know. I think we can all admit tonight that phone flipping, no matter how smart you are, no matter how long you've been in the industry, you can learn something new almost every day if you stick with this industry. And it's sad to see people come into an industry that's already confusing only to be confused more because there's so many choices.
Yeah, a lot of conflicting info, and people think they know quite a bit when they really, don't.
Exactly.
It's
Cool. Yeah, no, I think those are great points, Gunnar. I appreciate the feedback and the information.
For sure, for sure.
So, yeah. Let's see. Jonathan, what is your thoughts on this subject?
Like, I mean, honestly, like at first I was just like, I was everywhere. It was like David, 2 different Davids. Then I stumbled onto Luke, and I'm all like jumping around. Then I tried it, and then after I made my first sale, and I'm like, all right, I need to get a course because I want to like get to the next level. And then I seen one for 1,000. I seen one for 300. Then I was like, this other one's 300, but this other guy, all his content was like it's like a home run. So I'm like, all right, cool. And that's when I went with yours, to be honest.
For sure. Very cool. Do you think that it was confusing then? As somebody, I think you're a smart guy. We've talked before.
I mean, to be honest, no. I mean, everyone has some good input. Like, everyone that I've watched from has some good input, but it's like, it just depends on your preference, to be honest. It's like, I mean, maybe I would have paid the 1,000 with other David if I didn't find your content. But it's like, I feel like you could have learned how to do this on your own for free, but what you're doing with the course is you're paying for someone's like trial and error. And I kind of like, after you like shared your trial and error, I was like, all right, cool. I feel like I can relate to that somewhat.
Right.
And I was like, let me learn from this guy.
Yeah, you can't put a price on trial and error.
Yeah, you really can't, because it's like you could save someone thousands or even jail time because, hey, you already been through that scenario. Right. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, like, they're doing the phone flipping, but they probably haven't walked in your shoes and made the same mistakes you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, thanks, Jonathan. That's some good input. I appreciate it.
No problem.
We are coming up on 41 minutes here, guys. We'll probably wrap the chat up here in a second. I'm going to ask Will if he's with us. Will, are you here, or do you have a microphone? I'm just going to see what Will's opinion is on this.
Yeah. I think in terms of everybody making courses and things like that, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I mean, like, I think taking the information from other courses and going and making your own course and selling it for half the price or whatever, obviously I don't think that's a good thing. But I think having a lot of different people that are coming up with original ideas is a really good thing, because it helps to drive the prices of the courses down, which is good for the consumers. And I think that it's just good to get more ideas out there for more people to know and to test out and use. So I think that's a good thing. But I think one thing that would be really cool is if a few phone flippers that really know what they're doing got together and all made like one giant course with each other. And so basically, like, for example, David K is really good at negotiations and stuff. So maybe he teaches a section on negotiations, and then somebody teaches a section on advertising and things like that. I think that would be really cool.
Definitely. Yeah, that would be nice. That's something that I just kind of want to put that out there too to everybody watching this. I've always thought that it would be really good for, 3 or 4 people, me, maybe David K, maybe one other person, all 3 people get together, different perspectives, different teaching styles. Okay. If you've watched some of David K's stuff, David K, I guess I would say that he is more he's a good talker. Obviously, I'm a good talker too, but I have a more analytical style teaching style. Like I have a lot of details, where some of David K's stuff, it's just kind of, it's good, but it's just kind of down to earth, real simple. So like, boom, bang through his stuff, then bang through my stuff. Then you got the whole package. And then, you know, if there's somebody out there with a couple good ads courses or somebody who knows RSIM unlocking really well, I really think that it could be a good thing. But in order for that to happen, just because of the fact that, you know, in my opinion, even teachers out there that have been in this business a while, I think everybody wants the money. And I just don't see it happening as far as 3 people wanting to team up. Would I personally do it? Absolutely. Would I team up with 2 other people and make $1,000 course and take a cut of 300 every time it's sold and then split, you know, the rest with the other 2 people? Absolutely. To me, it's not about the money. It's about getting the best content out there and teaching people the best, because that's basically my job. Is I'm supposed to help people make money. And if me teaming up with 2 other people, just imagine, you know, the course that I've built, the following that I've built, all the people that I've helped. If I had 2 other me's or 2 other partners that were equally as skilled as me in their own way, we could accomplish a lot. You know, we could teach so many people and help so many people out in this industry. I would love to see that, but I just don't know if that'll ever happen. But I appreciate that input, Will. And obviously this will be going up on my YouTube channel, so maybe some people will see this and maybe they'll have the same idea.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Jonathan, Gunnar, and thanks all the other people here that were kind of in and out of the group chat tonight. Our group chats from now on will be every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time for anybody that missed the announcement in the members only group chat. And the replay will be posted tonight on my YouTube channel. So thanks for coming out, everybody.
Have a good one, man.
Thanks. And have an awesome week, everybody, too. Make sure you guys flip a bunch of phones. Let's set the bar high. I got 2 of them on my desk. They came out Saturday. So
the 11s?
Yeah, 11 Pros right here.
Let me ask you a question, because I seen a few of them selling for $1,800, like literally today on eBay. What do you think about that?
If you can get your hands on one for a normal price, go and try and sell it on eBay, but don't overpay for it. That's my opinion.
Right. That's what I think, because someone inboxed me, I guess a distributor, but I don't know. I'm just trying to see what the price is for that. Like you said, it's all over the place, right?
So definitely paying more because you have to factor in import taxes.
Yeah.
$600 each for these. So yeah, don't overpay. The deals are out there, guys. You just got to find them. Don't overpay.
Is that the? I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that the 512 one?
256.
256. Okay.
Yep.
But you said 600.
I paid 600. Yeah. So I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm done.
You can see the date on there too. So anyways, just don't overpay, guys. Just types up. Keep that in mind, I guess, for this week. Might as well touch on that super quick before we go. Do not overpay for iPhone 11 just because the hype is up. Doesn't mean that the price is going to stay up. So, yeah.
Okay.
Keep that in mind, guys. Have an awesome.
For that. You too, man.